All right, collectors, in a box of ridiculous size is the Weta Workshop Zack Snyder Justice League Nightmare Batman quarter scale. So let's get it open. All right, here is it unboxed. I mean, again, this is a massive box for a quarter scale. Yeah, just it's huge. So anyway, picture of the statue up front. Get a little twirl if I can. Bat symbol, Justice League, again, picture of the box, or sorry, the statue. So yeah, pretty simple. What it does have is this, which I really do like. It kind of gives the process of creating the Nightmare Batman. So you see them discussing the, I guess, design, how it's coming out, the process of, I guess, 3D printing it there, or I'm not quite sure. I haven't read through this yet, but anyway, it's pretty cool. I like when companies show the process of making it. So whether we get, renders of it, if it's in clay, work in progress, or the factory when they're putting that together. I always think that's really cool to see, especially Sideshow. They've been doing those painting videos and things like that, which I really enjoy. So, and I think Weta did have a video on the making of these Snyder cut 1/4 scale figures. So anyway, let's get the statue. All right, so here's box open. You can see why it was so large. So the base is sideways. I guess if they put it the other way, probably think something could break or just make it wider. You have the gun here, the unmasked portrait, the right hand, or sorry, left hand with the goggles, the gun on the right, the body is here, and here's the second portrait. Forgot to undo it. This one I'm probably not going to display. It's with his the scarf covering his face from the dirt of the Nightmare universe. So yeah, let's get this together, and yeah, so then we'll start the review. Okay. So as I was taking out the pieces, the cape is actually completely detached. It's a clean break. I submitted a request to Weta for a replacement. A few weeks later, the replacement did arrive, but that one was also broken. So I'm just going to go ahead and just repair it myself and deal with whatever options Weta has after that. So let's just put it together and start. All right, as you saw, the cape arrived damaged, but the parts, let's give a look at the parts. So this one is the left hand of Batman, and he's holding some binoculars. And yeah, the detail is really good on that. You can see the wraps on his hands right here. What kind of sucks is his fingers are kind of molded together, because he's kind of clenching it like this, I would assume. But yeah, if there was a bit more breakup, that'd be good. But that's just nitpicking. The front of the binoculars has like a reflective sheen, as you can see. Yeah, overall good detail. This part is mixed media, so it's just like a, leather strap. So let's go to the other hand. So first swap out for the hand is him holding this Joker card, which he receives in the Snyder cut of the Justice League movie. So as you can see, it's really good detail. The card is also mixed media, so it is paper. The glove, again, you have the gauntlet, and yeah, I mean, it looks pretty good. Again, you have this one would make sense that his fingers they look molded together, but yeah, overall, great detail on the Joker card. You could tell like there's like a, I don't know, dried blood or something on it. So it's pretty cool. And then next is the other swap out hand. This one has the gun. So doesn't quite make sense for the movie that he has the Joker card in it, but I think the Joker card also was seen in the Batman v Superman. But I think the Batman v Superman nightmare scene actually occurs after, because obviously Batman, he gets caught by Superman's forces and Darkseid's forces, and it looks like he's killed in that scene. So I would think that that comes after his new Justice League, consisting of Joker, Deathstroke, Mara, um, uh, Cyborg, and Flash is killed or something happens to them. So yeah, this one has really great detail too. The tip of the nozzle is kind of bent upward. Since I did get a replacement, this is the replacement. Oh, sorry, no, this is the original one. Haven't checked the replacement to see if like anything, if that one's the right way. I mean, I kind of just like took out the body and stuff that was again damaged, but that one I just attempted to fix. So I'll show you guys in a minute. Anyway, so good detail on this. The Queen Studios version of the gun is more colorful. I think it's like a lighter green here. I don't know. I think it may look better in the Queen Studios, but again, no one has that one in hand. It's still in production. Yeah, so this one looks pretty good. Now let's go to the head, the portraits. This one wasn't in the Snyder Cut, and this again, this statue is supposed to be based off the Snyder Cut Justice League. I mean, he does have the scarf, but he's not wearing it. He's wearing it in the Batman v Superman when you first see him. Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, there's, you know, detail in the scarf here. There's texture to it. The goggles look dirty. There's little marks on his cowl there. Again, there's texture on it. It looks dirty. Everything looks weathered. The strap. So all this is sculpted. So none of this is mixed media. Yeah, it looks pretty good. But let's get to the portraits that I'll be displaying that I think most collectors would display is the actual Ben Affleck Batman. So right here, so it looks pretty good. Now this one is the original portrait that I received. The replacement statue I received, he's more cross-eyed. The left eye is facing a bit the other way, so he looks cross-eyed in that one. So I'm going to use the original portrait that I got because I had to destroy the body or you know the statue in order to get a replacement. So I mean, I pretty much just destroyed the body, so that one is in thousands of pieces. But yeah, the portrait looks really good. I mean, whenever you have a movie piece, this is the most important feature, in my opinion, is if it doesn't look like the actor, then your statue failed at being a movie piece. But this looks like Ben Affleck to me. So I showed it to my wife, and she agreed, yeah, it's Ben Affleck. And she was the one that pointed me to that the other one was cross-eyed. So yeah, it looks great. The goggles are still above here. They're a bit translucent a bit. You can kind of see the cowl under it. All great detail from the other one too. You know, strap, everything. So yeah, this is good. Now let's get them assembled, and I'll show close-ups of the coat. All right, so let's take a closer look at the damage that I repaired. So let's bring it around, and here it snapped off from the coat all the way down here. So it was more of a clean break than the last time. So I got some epoxy resin, joined it together, used some rubber bands and some other things to like kind of hold it in place throughout the night, and it seems to be sticking. You can see some of the epoxy kind of like lead through. I try to wipe it away, but now it's kind of leaves a sheen there. But you know, looking at this closer, I mean, it seems like it's already had a repair, probably from the factory, or I don't know. I don't think the warehouse did it. I think Weta just has a warehouse. I don't think they have a presence there. But if you look here, you can kind of see that there was a crack here as well. Like it's visibly separating. I don't know if it was broken at the factory, and they repaired it, or it's just naturally coming down and done. I mean, or it could just be a result of the shipping. So if you kind of go here, you can kind of see there's like two chips there, and it almost looks like it was repainted or something there. So I'm thinking that, you know, this was a repair at the factory, and they provided over to me once it was like completed, or I mean, Weta probably didn't know, and they just shipped it out. And if you look at the bottom, right here, his leg. Let's try to get there. Like his leg is kind of like separate. Also, you can kind of see if you kind of go in. Let me try to get it. There's like glue joining his leg right here, so that could have detached. And they just redid it at the factory. I mean, I don't know. I mean, just a lot of issues with this piece. So, I mean, again, I would stress enough, if you're interested in this piece, just find it locally, and just inspect it to make sure there's no damage. Because yeah, it just seems like they didn't have a great concept, the factory, about how this piece should go together, and and the shipping. Because I mean, it just seems like this one has a lot of damage pre-existing maybe, and then it just didn't help shipping it the way they did, that this part detached as well. I mean, so I put glue on mine, and it's holding on, and I'm gonna ask Weta for compensation, because Weta's policy was, if you ask for a replacement, they'll only ship one replacement. After that, you can either get a full refund or they'll give you some type of compensation for it. So I'm just gonna offer the compensation. I fixed it myself. I mean, yeah, we'll see. I mean, we'll see if this holds. So, I mean, to avoid this, if you really want a Knightmare Batman, Queen Studios has theirs. I just don't think it's as good as the Weta piece. But, yeah, so that's the damage that it had. I mean, they had me destroy my previous one in order to get the replacement. So, that one's completely destroyed. So I don't recall how the other part of the cape look or the leg looked before I dropped it. So now this is the way this one came. So I'm just thinking, because of this part here, where the middle part, the way it looks like it was repainted, because I doubt my other one looked like this, like the weird colors here and then the color here, and it just seemed like it was separated. So I think it may have been a factory repair and then they sent it out. But yeah, so that's the damage that this one had. Now let's get back to the review. All right, so here's a close-up of the base. I will have to say that this is probably the most realistic environmental base I've received in statue form. I've received a lot of like Sideshow and XM. Rock on there, I mean, it's hit or miss. I mean, the Sideshow ones don't really have a lot of color breakup when they're doing the base. Sand and dirt, snow, whatever, it looks like it's one color. But with this Weta piece, I mean, there's multiple different browns. You have a rusted car here. This is the back windshield. This is the back of the car with the light and the bumper. And you see pieces of like tire underneath. And like, if you've seen my Bane review, it's not as good. This is like incredible in person. So like, probably the best environmental base I've ever received in a statue. The XM, I have the Doomsday and Reverse Flash. Yeah, they're not close to this. So kudos to Weta for an environmental base. I mean, this thing's heavy too. It's heavy and it's big. That's the only downside. It's really big, but it could be because the statue and his trench coat go so far out. They needed the wideness of the base to make sure it doesn't tip. And I commend them if that's what it is. I mean, it's all designed, but yeah, this is like the best base I've ever seen in a statue form, at least in my collection and pics that I've seen. Like, seeing this in person, I mean, it looks incredible. So now let's go up to the body, because that's what I haven't shown. So here we go. This is the Batman. So let me you know what? Let me start putting on the pieces. Okay, so here's his hand, and then we'll get his right hand in. The magnets are all pretty. This one's pretty strong. That one feels weak, but it's not gonna come off. So, and then we'll get his portrait on. All right, so sculpt-wise, it's perfect to the movie, I think. It has that weathering Zack Snyder look. I know Queen Studios is doing is doing one, but they have like a fabric cape, and I know people have already said before, like I've even said, on like it looks like it's brand new right off the rack. This looks exactly like the movie. So let's stop here. Let's go around to the cape. 1 second. All right, so here's the second portrait, and him holding the Joker playing card. I mean, it's a good way to display it. I mean, it is, whoa, it is a scene from the movie, but I don't know. I mean, I think if you're getting a movie piece, then you want to have the likeness to whatever actor is portraying him, or you want it movie accurate, right? So like, you wouldn't do like, I don't know, like, someone with they're just covering their face just because it was like an extra, one scene of a movie, which is, it's a great addition if you want to put it, if you want to have it, but I prefer the Ben Affleck portrait. And then I guess the playing card is a bit more movie accurate to the scene in the Snyder Cut, because he's receiving the playing card in there, but there's no way to put the gun over his body, because he did have the gun strapped over his shoulder. So I guess if there was a way you could do that, but I guess, it'd be resin rubbing on top of each other. If you move it around, it could chip or break. So I understand why they just made it attached to his hand. But this is probably more movie accurate minus the gun. But yeah, it's not something that I would display. I mean, I'm putting it with the Ben Affleck portrait. I just think it's a lot better. Yeah, let's see. Just scroll around. I mean, yeah, everything. It looks cool. It looks cool. But let's get back to the portraits that I do like. So, final thoughts. I mean, I love this piece. I mean, it's definitely the best of the 3 Knightmare Batman quarter scales that have been released. You have the Iron Studios one, which just almost looks like just a blown up version of their 1/10 scale. I've seen close up photos of it. I mean, it doesn't have a lot of detail. The coat's all wrong. It doesn't look good. I mean, for a movie piece, it's lacking a lot of detail. The Queen Studios one looks great in photos, but again, you have the fabric trench coat, which is gonna save against breakages. But as of right now, there's no release date for it. I think I saw one post where Queen Studios finally responded, and they said it's still in production. And this thing went up for order, I think, 2 years ago, back in 2022 or so. So it's not coming anytime soon. They said they were trying to make sure that I guess the cape, the mixed media parts were accurate. So I don't know if they're going to try to do weathering, try to make the coat less colorful, I guess. I mean, and most likely I think that's how the coat looked in real life too. It was very dark, but Zack Snyder does his color muting for his movies, so this is how it looked in the movie. So I guess it may be accurate, because I think I looked it up once. It's a very like high end type of coat, because I wanted to do this for like a Halloween costume, and I think I found the coat, but the coat was like $1,500 or something like that. It was insane. So yeah, it's like a very high end coat. It was well over 15. I just remember it was very expensive. It was like Burberry type, trench coat. Like it was. I don't think it was Burberry, but it was like a high end producer. So yeah, I think, and it was the color that the Queen Studios ones had. But the Weta piece, I mean, if you can find this, I would say locally from a local collector, and it's not broken, and you can get a good price for it. Like I've seen them sell for 500, 500, and there's some for 600. If you can get it locally, this is the best Knightmare Batman. And I remember when Ben Affleck was first announced as Batman. Like I was at a party, and we were all taking a break from the game or whatever we were playing, the drinking, and it was a bathroom break. And I remember the news came in that Ben Affleck was Batman, and I was like, no way. I was like shocked. I'm like, Ben Affleck is Batman? That's going to be horrible. But it depends on who you ask. I mean, I liked his portrayal. He had a good Bruce Wayne. His Batman actually looked intimidating, as opposed to the other Batmans. I mean, Affleck is a big guy. He's like 6'3", 6'4", or something like that. And Snyder was recently on Joe Rogan podcast, and he was saying, with the boots, like Affleck was like 6'6", 6'7", so like he looked huge. He looked like a gigant, a very large Batman. So, and that's how I would picture Batman, like from Frank Miller and stuff like that. Like he's big. So, I think he filled it well, and the whole thing about Batman killing, not killing. I mean, each their own. This isn't Elseworlds thing. It's not. It's not comic based. Okay, so like you, even if you want to use the comic argument, he's in a different universe. This Batman does kill people at times. And remember, the Affleck Batman had been fighting crime in Gotham for like over 20 years. So this is like an older Frank Miller type Batman who's just done with all the BS and stuff. He's defeated the Joker and all his rogues, and he's, he was at the end of his crime fighting days when Superman brought him back, kind of thing. So, yeah, so if you ever watch the director's cut of Batman v Superman, I mean, it's so much better. It gives more of the Lex Luthor plot. So like Lex Luthor is manipulating both Batman and Superman throughout the movie to get them to fight each other. So he wants one of them to take each other out. Either most likely Superman will, and then he would show the world like, look, he just killed this guy that's been fighting crime for a while, something like that. So it makes for a lot of bad movies. Same thing as the Snyder cut. I mean, the movie's a lot better under the director's cut. So anyway, yeah, if you can find this locally, I would say get it. I mean, don't pay the $1,200 because people have been selling it for like half the price. And Weta still has it on their site, but again, you're rolling the dice. I mean, this is the second one I received, and both came broken at the Cape, and they said it's a common issue. So, again, here's the likeness to Affleck right here. Looks fantastic, and it's polystone. You don't have to worry about, if it's silicone or anything. Silicone will probably look great. I mean, I've seen the Infinity Studios Ben Affleck bust in person, and I don't know, it had that militarized, or what do they call it, suit that he has at the end of the movie. I mean, it looked okay, but I mean, this looks pretty good, and you can get it for like $500, which is a lot cheaper than most new sideshow pieces nowadays. And if you like it, I mean, I'm a fan of Snyder. The Snyder DC movies, which is Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and Justice League, all the director's cut of the last two. Man of Steel, I don't think had one. But yeah, I mean, take it for what it is. Elseworlds, it's not your comic-based Batman, but I wish we got to see, where he was going with it. I think there's an outline of the storyboards, but again, there's my review of the Weta Knightmare Batman quarter scale. Yeah, so my recommendation, pick it up. Not many flaws on it other than the broken cape. But I fixed mine. I don't plan on getting rid of it. So again, find it locally, make sure it's not broken, and you have yourself a great Batman. So there you go. Thanks for watching.